Hey guys, my name is Dixie. I'm one of the students with the Occupational Therapy Department at UT Tyler, right? I'm sharing a video with the group that will, I think it's something that can help with our mental health, emotional well-being, just kind of something to do that's not clinical necessarily, but just something that's useful in using our bodies, our brains, and kind of just helps ease the stress of everyday life. We're gonna do some simple gardening. This is one of the things I like to do. I'm actually in my backyard right now, and we'll just go over something really basic, okay? So a few things that you'll need for comfort. I use a knee pad. I'm not as spry as I used to be, so it gets comfortable, or it gets uncomfortable being on your knees working in the dirt. So it's just something that's really nice. Keeps your clothes clean too. Gardening gloves, always good. You don't want the dirt gathering under your nails, and there'll be like earthworms and things, so you know, if you get a little icky about that, then it protects your hands. You need some basic gardening tools. I like the little kind of, I guess, rake. I don't know what it's actually called. A spade, both very useful. Some dirt or soil, and I like mixing compost too, which you can get at any gardening center, Home Depot. I would recommend a local place if you got a mom and pops. They tend to know a lot more, especially about the climate and the area that you're in. They can be a little more helpful. Some basic things that you'll want to do are figure out what you want to plant. Is it just flowers? Is it you want to grow some veggies or herbs? And if you have a big space like this, we have this stock tank that we've used to plant in. You can put numerous things in. So we do a little research online to see what can grow with other things, like what doesn't, they don't fight for the nutrients in the soil. So you can discover what things grow well together. So right now we have rosemary, which is doing pretty well. And we're gonna add into some of this other space some herbs that grow with rosemary. So for example, we have thyme, we have parsley, and sage. So parsley, sage, rosemary, thyme. Scarborough Fair. And then also, helpful hint for herbs and different edible things, planting marigolds can keep a lot of pests away. They don't like the marigold smell. So you can kind of intersperse those with your other things. And plus they look nice, little pop of color. So what we'll do is, I'm gonna just plant the sage first. It's a little easier to see on the camera. And I'm gonna do it kind of close to the rosemary. You don't want to crowd your things in, leave some space, and gloves. I was also gonna mention, if you're gonna be outdoors doing this planting, be mindful of your environment. So if it's sunny, wear a hat, wear your sunglasses, sunblock. If you're a mosquito magnet like I am, put on some bug spray. If you're doing stuff inside, which it's easy to do with little pots and everything, you don't have to worry about it, but just be really mindful. You know, you don't want to end up with a sunburn after trying to get a little leisure time in. All right, back to the business at hand. So you'll have a standard little container full of the soil and a little baby plant. That kind of gives you an idea of the size that you'll need to dig the hole. So you take your spade, you figure out where you want to dig the hole, and then you just move that dirt aside. And you can eyeball it. And then when you're taking the plant out of the container, usually it's this thin plastic, you can kind of squish it, it loosens up the dirt. It out. Okay. Now, depending on how long this little plant has been in the container, it might have a whole lot of roots that have overgrown and they'll be really all tangled up. This one doesn't look so bad, but you want to gently, just with your fingertips, sort of break it up and let that excess soil fall into where you're going to be planting it. What this does is it unclumps the roots, so that way they can search out for their food and water in the space where you're planting it. So you can see they're kind of becoming unclumped and loosened. You can see the roots a little more clearly. just be really gentle. You're not squeezing this or anything. Just kind of gauge how much pressure you're giving it. And then what I do is I'll mix up the soil that came with the plant with the soil where it's getting transplanted, kind of integrate those together, because you don't want the plant to have a shock of going from one environment to another. So it kind of helps it wean its way in, so to speak. So then you want to plant that with the base of the plant where it meets the dirt. You want that to be about level to where the ground level is. So you place that in the hole and you gently bring all of the other soil around it. I've already mixed the compost with this, so that is ready to go. And I'm just lifting up the leaves so I don't bury any of them. And once I see, sometimes you'll meet little critters like an earthworm. That honestly, that just means your soil is really good and healthy, and the plants will like it. So you just take the soil, make sure it's filled in, and you press it down around the stem of the plant. That makes sure that it's in a good position. It's not going to move aside. Like if it rains, it's not going to like cave in the dirt or anything. And then you can just sprinkle around that. I'll do one more, just as a review, in case there were any I went too fast or missed something. So now I'm going to do the thyme, and I'm going to kind of, the thyme likes to kind of crawl out like almost like an ivy, so I'm going to put it along the border. Give it room to fill in all the spaces. Okay, so same thing. Also, they'll sometimes come with little labels. You can stick those in next to the plants if you want to remember what's what. So I'm going to squeeze out the container. Real gently, and thyme is real delicate. It's got really thin stems, so I got to be extra careful. I'm going to shake out that soil, break up the roots, mix it all in. Alright, so placing that in the little hole, holding the plant up out of the dirt so we can cover only the base, the stem part, or I guess rather the roots of the stems. And we're going to help this kind of flow out. Thyme is actually, the plant ends up being sort of like the roots, where you got to untangle it a bit. You press that down nice and stiff. There you go. So now, get out of there. All right, so this is Lucy. Thanks for being so helpful, pup. So once you've planted everything and it's where you want it to be, you want to water it immediately. So again, we've taken the plant from one environment to another. It's got to get used to that environment and not be such a shock. So we want to water it, essentially make sure it's going to be healthy and fed. So I went ahead and filled up a little water thing. And we're just going to water around it, not water on top of the plant. Most of the leaves don't like that. They get kind of soggy, especially here in Houston where it's really humid. It doesn't dry up so fast. If you're in a drier climate, it might be okay. All right, just kind of saturate that so it's nice and happy. Yeah. So that's pretty much it, and it's kind of nice. I think a lot of the benefits of doing gardening is you get to be outside, you're in nature. The weather's really nice right now. It's like 70 degrees. It's sunny, and it takes you away from, you know, the life stressors that we all have. Like, you're not in front of a computer, you're not in front of your phone screen, you're not working on homework or work. You're outside. Your mind's on some task and you're being productive, but it's a disconnect, which is really nice. And also, there's the benefit of, as things start to grow and thrive, you kind of get a sense of accomplishment and pride. In fact, I'll show you up here, we have some pepper bushes that have gone nuts. It's taller than me. You can see it's probably about 9 feet tall. This is a poblano pepper bush, and we've got like there's a little baby pepper growing in right there. We've got some like this one. Probably be ready to pick in about a week. Behind it we have some banana peppers. We got some jalapenos there. We've got basil. We've got sweet potatoes that will probably not be ready until after winter, and that's another part of it too, is we thought the poblano bush wasn't doing well. It was just growing, no fruit, and then about 2 months ago it just exploded, and every time we harvest it's like 20 to 30 peppers. So being patient. It's a payoff though. It's nice, and you kind of tend to it, make sure no bugs are attacking it, make sure it's not falling over. This guy started to lean, which is why we have it staked. So it's a good hobby. I like it, and again, just gets you out of your normal rush of the day and gives you something to focus on, and it's nice, and it's delicious afterwards.